Hey guys, Marcus Kacken from Blindside Football. Yesterday, obviously, I recapped those early 1 o'clock games, so let's talk a little bit now about the 4 o'clock games and later games that have gone on. First up, Ronnie Hillman gets hurt in this game, kind of nicks up that ankle injury that he got back in the Patriots game last weekend, and now out 2 weeks. CJ Anderson, obviously filling in for him, looked really well running the ball and receiving, but I think Monte Ball was close to coming back this week. He's definitely going to be back next week, and I think they go back to Monte Ball. I know C.J. Anderson seems to be the hot waiver wire pickup. There's a lot of people talking about C.J. Anderson, but you got to realize this was a coaching staff that really liked Monte Ball going into this season. So I think they go back to him and see what they got for a couple weeks, and then possibly move back to Hillman once Hillman's healthy again. So let's wait and see. Tone down the C.J. Anderson hype a little bit. Don't get too excited about him. Obviously put in a waiver claim for him just in case I'm wrong, but I really don't see it really panning out there. Carson Palmer, another guy that suffered an injury in the late games, tears his ACL, out for the season. They're going to be going back to Drew Stanton, and honestly, I think you got to downgrade that whole Cardinals offense right now. Drew Stanton really didn't have that connection going on with Larry Fitzgerald that Carson Palmer did, and then he had an even worse situation with Michael Floyd. Michael Floyd, in the 4 games they played together, 3 of them with just 1 catch. So Drew Stanton's not exactly going to help Michael Floyd's value. Next up, Marshawn Lynch. Dude is a stud. He is proving to you why he was probably a first-round pick in your fantasy drafts these last couple weeks. Now, in the post-Percy Harvin era, these last 3 games, he's averaging over 120 total yards per game, and he's averaging 2 rushing touchdowns per game in those post-Percy Harvin days. So, hey, no Percy Harvin. Now they're kind of going back to Lynch a little bit more, getting him more carries, getting him more touches, getting him more involved in that offense. Speaking of which, Russell Wilson has really seen kind of decline in his numbers lately. This past weekend we did see his third 100-yard rushing and 1 rushing touchdown performance since their bye week. But in their first 4 games of the season, he had 8 passing touchdowns, and in the last 5 games, just 3 passing touchdowns. So you like seeing that built-in floor with Russell Wilson because of the rushing, but he's not really getting it done throwing the ball anymore, and some of that, not that Percy Harvin really did a lot, but some of that maybe because he doesn't have the receiving weapon in Percy Harvin anymore, so they're just turning to that ground game and really pounding it out like they used to. Finally, last night in the late game, Sunday Night Football, Aaron Rodgers, 6 touchdown passes by halftime. Only the second person in the NFL to ever do that, last time being back in 1969. He is back. Jordy Nelson and Randall Cobb, obviously stud number 1 receivers. Randall Cobb now touchdown every game but 1 this season, so really getting it done. And in that same game, Brandon Marshall nicks up his ankle again as well. He looks questionable for this week, so something to pay attention to. I think his knee and ankle issues that he's been having going on have really hindered him all season, and we've seen it in his stat line. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at Marcus Katkin, and subscribe below to go ahead and get my daily fantasy updates every day.